Welcome to LifeBlood. This is George G, and the time is right. Welcome to today's guest, strong and powerful Bill Gammon. Bill, are you ready to do this?
Let's do it now.
Let's go. Bill is a CRPC, an AWMA, and a CHFC. He's the founder of Gammon and Associates. He's helping people formulate and surpass their financial goals. Bill, tell us a little bit about your personal life, some more about your work, and why you do what you do.
Wonderful. Well, my personal life, I have to go back to years ago, my junior year of high school. My parents were divorced when I was very young. Didn't know my father, hadn't seen him for 10 years. He asked me to go live a year in the Philippines with him. I did. I spent my junior year of high school there. While I was there, I made friends with a young man in our class named Manolito Diaz at the American school. Played chess with him every day. He used to beat me unmercifully because his father and grandfather were both grandmasters. But what better way to learn not only a game, but about life than to know that failure is just an episode in life, a one-time event. When I came back from my senior year of high school, I could take on the entire chess club at the same time and not lose a match.
I bet.
I had a lot of experience in failure. And in life, we all run into that. And the secret is, don't be stopped by that. The most successful people that ever lived in the world have had a myriad of failures. Einstein, Edison, you name them. If they stopped at a failure, they would never have achieved what they did or given us the gifts that they gave the world. And along my path in life, I've run into many coaches. My business career basically started with United Airlines. When I first went to the Philippines, I got on a plane in Baltimore, Maryland, and went to San Francisco on the way. And we spent a week there. And then we got on a Pan American strato cruiser with the beaters going across the Pacific. They didn't have jets flying across the Pacific at the time. Stopped at Hawaii, Wake, and Guam on the way. And came back a year later. The people at United Airlines had made an impression on me, the friendly skies. It was a different world at that time. So when I graduated from high school, I went to an aeronautical school and I had a goal of working with United Airlines. They offered me a job. I started out on a ramp at Kennedy, went through several different jobs. Raleigh-Durham is a station agent. In Pensacola, Florida, is an industry representative, not just for United, but the whole industry at Naval Air Station. Met a lot of the Blue Angels there. From there, I took over management of a job at Fort Riley, Kansas for the airline industry. And while I'm there, I'm working on more education. And every time you add value, you seem to get a promotion in life. And that's what businesses look for and what people look for. But I've had good coaches along the way, whether they were bosses or secretaries. I learned from them. And I had some great ones. One of them, Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, told me something that I've been able to share with lots of folks. I'm going to share it with you and yours now. He said this: thank God for the bottom, because there's no way to go but up. You know, when he delivered that statement, he was giving a sermon to our church that had won Church of the Year in the United States for going over and rebuilding a little church in Pascagoula, Mississippi, that had been taken out when Camille came through. And so I ran into him several other times and we talked, and I read his books, of course. And I've read lots of books. I see lots of books behind you. I progressed at United Airlines to where when I left them, I had a sales territory in Iowa and was responsible to the Chicago vice president, who was the son of one of the men that was large in building United Airlines and the president. I also, from there, sat in for the regional vice president in Colorado, and I would have been the next vice president there. As a matter of fact, when I left them, they said, Bill, there's always a place for you if you want to come back. But United had changed, and so had the times. And I'd met a couple that had a small regional airline, Brit Airways. And I joined them as their director of sales. And while there, I became responsible for not just sales, but reservations, tariffs, scheduling, and pricing. And then we had built it from where, when I joined them, there was about 1,500 employments a day, and we changed that to 15,000.
Wow.
He started that airline with a couple of $100 in his pocket. We helped him build it to where he sold it for $35 million cash. But he sold it to Don Burr at People Express. Don Burr didn't want just the airline or the people. He wanted the 72 slots, arrivals and departures each that we had at O'Hare. He wanted the 37 we had at St. Louis. He wanted what we had helped build in Philadelphia with Eastern Express and in Houston with Continental Express. And after going to a few meetings with the people running the company, I decided their Kool-Aid wasn't for me. I just couldn't take it. They had a totally different philosophy from mine. And mine is to love people and use money. And theirs was the opposite of that. Love money and use people. We find a lot of each type of people in the world as we go through our journeys. And we need to be cautious of that as we make decisions and involving people in our business or becoming involved in theirs. Because we work a lifetime to earn a reputation, and it can go up in a puff of smoke in minutes. Look how much of that has happened in the last few years at various companies because people have not been transparent and truthful with their employees or with their investors. And so I think it's very wise to do what I've done. I've always used a coach. And what I found as a mentor coach has been able to help me avoid the quicksand and the trips where I fall on my face and help me keep the right attitude in getting over the setbacks or the obstacles that life hands us all from time to time. That's why I wrote the book that I did, Fast Track Your Business Journey and Thrive Along the Pathway. The fastest way to fast track a journey in any business is to have a good mentor coach. That's what I've discovered. And that's the first real nugget I'll share with you and your listeners, because a coach has been there before or has seen it before in people that they have worked with. So when I retired from the brokerage business, because once I left that company, I met a man in Indianapolis named Joe Massotti. He was head of Shearson Lehman Hutton. He said, Bill, you know, you can do pretty good for yourself and your family and your clients if you just work half the time. I said, that sounds wonderful, Joe. He says, now tell me, son, which 12 hours would you like to work every day?
He gotcha.
What? No, he didn't get me. He told me the secret. The secret is to work, to improve yourself, and to help your clients. My philosophy with clients is this: turn your clients into friends instead of your friends into clients. A lot of people go about it the other way. They start with their friends to build a business. And I have found that once you prove yourself to your clients, not only do they trust you with more or all of their assets, they then tell their friends about them. And life gets easier to bring in new business from lots of others. And it's a whole lot easier to bring in someone that's referred than to go chasing people. Now, when I first started in the brokerage business, I made 300 cold calls every day, in addition to talking to people that were my clients. I stroked every one of them with a pen. Dials and smiles. Hard work.
No doubt.
And so in building any business, it takes hard work. That's why if you go visit my website at gammonandassociates.net and you look at the about page that tells you about me, it'll start out by saying, I help serious entrepreneurs and business people. Here's why. I've found that a lot of people say they want to do something and don't follow through with it. Look at all the New Year's resolutions that are broken. And the simple reason is, in most cases, it was a wish and a dream rather than something that they were committed to do. And so one of the first things that you need to understand is when you change from doing one thing to another, there are roadways in your mind and mine, neural pathways, highways of the mind. And in order to make a decision for any of us, 95% of them already up there and paved wide, super highways. New ones are like a small road that needs to be developed and widened and created to replace the old road. And so fallback takes over when problems appear. And problems will appear in life. And in order to change any habit, if you work with a coach, and if you have a plan, and that coach is holding your hand and lighting the path and working along with you on a consistent basis, when you get to a fork in a road, you don't take it like Yogi. You take the right one instead of the wrong one, and you avoid a lot of mistakes. And by avoiding mistakes, you cleared up to go further and faster. And by working with a coach, that coach can help you clarify and review what your goals really are and help you focus on the one right thing you should do next. Here's how you get there. Most people today, you find in any business, are in this state of mind: overwhelm. Would you agree?
For sure.
You talk to a lot of people. I talk to a lot of people, and all of them say, I'm so busy, I don't know what to do next sometime. Or I want to do this, but then I have to do that. So let's take that and put it on a piece of paper. And let's utilize a very old rule, the Pareto principle, 80-20. You're familiar with that rule, I'm sure.
I am.
People are. So if you had 100 things to do on your list, and you just focused on 20, right now, you got a better chance of getting those 20 done. But if you take it to the second level and take those 20 and put the Pareto principle on it, now you only got 4. And if you put those on a piece of paper, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's easier to identify out of those 4 what's really most important and focus on getting that done first. And so you will accomplish more of the right things as you go along the path. And I see you shaking your head up and down, so you're agreeing here. It's a simple rule, but how many people really keep it in their forebrain and follow it?
Probably very few.
When I talk to an entrepreneur or a business person, the first thing we do is try to understand and crystallize their goals. And then we look at what they're doing in different areas. And we look to see which of those things are important and which are not as important. And if you took a piece of paper and you split it north and south and east and west, there are only 4 things to do. And now there are 4 quadrants on that piece of paper to change anything. I'm going to make it real simple because as I simplify things for you and your guest or others, it's easier for them to get to where they want to go. And that's my goal, is to help them get from where they are to where they want to go. So the easy way to start is first understand what they want and let them always drive the bus. Don't tell them what to do, but help them really clarify what's important and what you're doing and what really needs to be done to get where you want to go. So simply, the more I can help you simplify something, the sooner you can get beyond whatever is keeping you from getting there. And you're shaking your head like you agree. So far, we're all together here, George.
Agreed.
So, clarity in goals is the best starting point. The next thing is I have tools to use that cost a couple of $1 million plus to develop over the last number of years that helps me look at a business. And we start out with a dozen things, but we add another 28 to get to 40. But we first start with 12 to accomplish in the first several months to a year, and then add the others. The second 28 are a deeper dive. But the first 12 are pretty simple. And there is a tool that people can get free on my website. And I'll share that with you last, because you asked me to keep something in my back pocket for the end of the show. And I think I'm going to share the simulator with you last, because any person can go there, put in their numbers privately, and we'll get to talking about it, but it will show you what you're doing. And then it'll take a lot of AI, almost 5 million looks, 4 million plus looks at everything you're doing. Pretty thorough medical examination in the business world. It's like going to the Mayo Clinic for your body. You get really looked at close. And so then we can order those things as to what you should look at first to get you the most profit as well as new business by first attacking this one and then attacking the others. Pretty sensible, but it is a plan, and a clear plan that gets us anywhere. Eisenhower had a wonderful plan. But you know what he said?
What did he say?
He said, when you get punched in the face, all plans tend to change.
Mm.
And I can tell you that there will be punches in the face to all businesses from time to time. Some expected, but most more unforeseen than seen, that really harm people. The biggest one that harms businesses is not paying strict attention to their cash flow. And simply, if you know where your money is coming from and where it's going to, it's a whole lot easier to manage it than if you don't know. It's not uncommon to talk to clients in the business world, and they have products that are not making money, but they're still not raising the price or doing what they need to do to make those unprofitable products profitable. So that's why a thorough look is very important. And that's why taking the steps to look at what's happening and understand. And your business is going to be different from mine and someone else from both of ours. And so without a clear look at what's going on and what's happening and understanding that, someone could mislead you. And misleading is not what a mentor or coach should ever do.
Yeah, agreed.
I would not have accomplished what I did without a lot of good mentors. And
Amen.
that's what put me in the business doing what I'm doing. And my goal for the rest of my life is to help as many people as I can achieve what they want, because others help me get to where I am. So you know me, and now you know the why I am doing what I'm doing. And you've heard a little about some of my skills to help people do things. When you go to my website, it says I can find any business person $100,000 in less than an hour. I can. But it would be better, instead of finding that money, and it's already in your business most of the time, finding you that much profit would even be better.
That would be better for sure.
Guess what? If I find you $100,000 of profit in a lot of businesses, that would be like finding you $1 million
For sure.
revenue. For others, it's less,
Mm-hmm.
but it depends on what business you're in as to where the profit margins are. And in most businesses, the business, not the market, sets the price and the profits. And most people pay for that because what people really buy is value. Not price, but value.
Mm-hmm.
And if you try in any business to have the lowest price and keep going in the price cutting business, sooner or later, the people in that business are all pretty much going to bleed to death. Mm-hmm. Because cost is always going to be there. And any business has to cover their cost and make a profit in order to be able to survive and pay their employees a fair wage and do what's necessary to provide what people need. But here's the truth. If you look at the most profitable businesses out there, they're viewed as the best in the business. What kind of watch do CEOs wear?
Rolexes?
Or more expensive than Rolex. You know what the most expensive Rolex sold for at an auction just recently?
I don't.
It was sold from the estate of Paul Newman. $17 million.
Nice.
Now, the person that bought that obviously values time.
Sure.
But he could value time just as much with a cheaper watch. But he also values the image and the ability to wear that watch on his wrist, because nobody else in the world can wear that.
Just that person.
That person, that's exactly right.
Love it.
And quite honestly, with the billionaires in the world today, there are a lot of people with a lot of money. Do you know what type of vehicle that the Dubai police drive?
I don't. I'm going to guess Range Rovers.
Lamborghini.
Ah, even better. Wonder if they're
I
hiring.
wouldn't want to try to speed around them.
Certainly not.
And then you know what a speeding ticket cost over there is north of $1,000. So they have a way to pay for the Lamborghinis.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, Bill, let's let everybody know where they can take advantage of that simulator you were talking about.
Okay, since it's getting up to that hour, that simulator is on Gammon, Gammon, and Associates, spelled out, .net/simulator. And if you go there, you will be able to put in just 3 numbers: what your sales are, what your cost is, and it'll show you your profits. And then it'll be a little slide bar down below it. And I suggest 3 to 5% in 12 different areas there that you'll go through. And it'll show you that report. And if you want to go deeper, and a lot of people do just to look at it, it'll show you that also. And what the changes of 3% on those numbers are. Small differences make big differences, but there's not a company out there that can't get 3% more prospects, 3% better improvement in their costs, 3% better conversion rate from their sales force, a better way to advertise, all kinds of things that will bring them more business. And if they need my help, I can help them get there quicker than they can themselves. But if they don't, there are other things. Now, on that site also, without the /simulator, you can get my book, Fast Track Your Business Journey and Thrive Along the Pathway. It sort of tells you how some of those things have worked for others and how they will work for you.
Excellent.
And if people want to ask me a question, there's a way for them to do that. If they want counsel with me, there's a way to do that. And until they see things that I know that I can live up to in helping them achieve, I won't ask them to be a client. And here's the question I'll ask them: would you like my help? I'm not a high pressure person, but I am a very gifted and talented and experienced mentor coach. And I can help people get there quicker. And I want to thank you and your audience for taking time to listen to us today. And I will tell you that if you do reach out, you'll be amazed at what we can accomplish together. And if you want to do it on your own, it'll take you longer, but you can get there. It'll just take you years instead of months.
Perfect. Well, Bill, thank you so much for coming on. If you enjoyed this as much as I did, show Bill your appreciation and share today's show with a friend who also appreciates good ideas. Go to gammonandassociates.net to find the simulator. Go to gammonandassociates.net/simulator. You can also pick up a copy of the book, Fast Track Your Business Journey and Thrive Along the Pathway, and find the opportunity to reach out to Bill and have a conversation as well. Thanks again, Bill.
Thank you. God bless you and your family and your clients.
And until next time, keep fighting the good fight. We are all in this together.